So I've just signed up for Gravit, an online image editor, and I'm going to talk you through today's image tweet tutorial. So first, create a new project. This is a folder for all of your work that you do in Gravit that is related to each other. And I'll change the status to private. And now Gravit comes up with all of these default templates, which are super convenient for us. The Twitter post is the one we want. And now in here, the first thing to do is to make some margins. So I'm going to do that by creating a text box that is exactly 50 pixels from each side of my borders of the image. So I click on the T and draw a box. It doesn't matter what dimensions it has yet, but if I click on the black and then click on the text box, then I get these X and Y dimensions come up, and this W and H. W stands for width, H stands for height, X stands for X-axis, and Y stands for Y-axis. So first I want to change the X to 50, and then the Y to 50, and then the width needs to be 1024 minus 100, so that's 924. And then the height needs to be 412 because that's 100 less than 512, which is the height. So now I have a text box that is the perfect height, perfect width, and perfect distance from all of the edges. So no matter what I do with my type now, I know that it will always be within a consistent margin, which, as we talked about in the lecture, increases consistency, increases your audience's trust in your message. The next thing to do is to paste in my quote. This doesn't really make that much sense as a quote on its own, but I'm just using it as an example. Now I go to the typefaces down here. I'm looking for one that is a slab serif that I saw earlier. Here we go. So the slab serif is different from what's in Fontbook because Gravit uses its own fonts. A downside of this is that if you have a font that you really like, you can't use it in these online programs. But an advantage is that these online programs have a whole lot of fonts that you won't have on your computer, and some of them are really good. Alright, so I've chosen the typeface. I'm going to make it bigger. The next thing I'm going to do is add a photo of the person I'm quoting. So I'll go to upload your images. Barack Obama is way too big right now. So now I can change the width and the height. If I click on this padlock, which means that I keep the ratio and keep the image in proportion, and then I change the width to 200, and then I change the X to 0 and the Y to 0. There he is, in a better size. Oh, see, I stretched him by accident. It's better to use these. Now this image isn't really working because it's a portrait image and I have a landscape. social media image. So what I need to do is look for a new image. This one is good because it has a big area on the right hand side that is fairly blurry. So I'll delete that one, and I just realized I forgot to save this. So click on save. And I'll upload my image. So now my image isn't big enough to be a complete background, but I'm going to show you how you can still use an image if it's not quite big enough by adding some other elements. So I'm going to draw a square. And change the option to gradient. In this right box, I changed the opacity to 0. And in this other box, for the color, I need to go to Adobe Color. So I'll choose a dark blue, something that matches the flag, so that the incorporation is kind of seamless. So here I get the hexadecimal reference. I need to remove the border of the box. So now we have our first gradient, and you see at the top there also isn't enough photo, so we can make another square and do the same thing. We can use the same gradient, except we just turn it around. And now I can download it as a PNG. And so it's not the ideal option, but this certainly works in terms of, say for example, you needed to make an image tweet of an eyewitness at a particular event and you didn't have a large photo, then you could use this technique to use a smaller image of that person but still be able to make a compelling graphic that wasn't pixelated. So that's it for this tutorial. So good luck making your own.